Hey, everybody, it's Nicole Bonner, and you're listening to Thrive in Chiropractic, the show that explains how to launch a practice for students and chiropractors who want to become business owners. Today, we're talking about community based marketing tactics and the BJ principle of time with Dr. Colton O'Brien as we follow his journey from chiropractic student to doctor to business owner. Welcome, Colton.
Hey everybody, it's great to be back. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited to find out what's been going on this week. Let's go ahead and get started. Do you want to just real quick bring us up to speed just on like some of the logistics, like what you've been doing this past week? What'd you get done? I know you found a location. Where are we at with that?
Okay, yeah, so I'm a little scatterbrained at times, so just bear with me. I don't know if this is going to be sequential, but I got the business officially established, or I found the location first, got the business established, got my PLLC, and then like my EIN, and now I'm in the process of getting like my national provider number and all that. And that's
Okay.
something, the provider number is something I was working on today. Um, what else have I been doing? Building the
Hey,
website.
Colton,
Yes.
maybe for some students that are getting ready to graduate, because I know this can be kind of a daunting thing. A lot of students ask me about this. Like, how do they start, like how do they register a business? How do they get an NPI number? Can you just like speak a little bit about, how you created a PLLC? Is that what you created?
Hmm.
So what did you do? Like, how did you know what to create? Who advised you on that? And then how'd you know what were your steps to do that?
Okay. So first thing I would say is like lean on your resources and like the people in your life. So like one amazing reason that I'm doing a lot that I'm doing is because I have a great coach. So that's super
Oh, that's
helpful.
super helpful. Thank you.
And then also I have a lot of great friends and mentors that are just a few exits ahead of me. So they still remember like their process. So like, I'm just like, okay, I was a part of the Delta Sigma Chi here in Dallas, and we have like an alumni group chat. And I'm like, what were some of y'all's first steps? And so a lot of them are like, one, find the location, start honing in your message, ideal client, and then that's all stuff we worked on, which is cool because I felt a little ahead of the game. But so just making the business legal first and foremost. So I had my name, I knew what I wanted it to be, so I reached out to a friend actually, which is you know just the more you can meet people and build relationships is amazing. So I have a great friend who's a lawyer, and I was like, "Hey, I'd like to make my business legal. Can you help me with that?" And she was like, "Yeah, absolutely." So she said, "Do you want an LLC?" And I was like, "I don't know." So I texted my buddies, and some of them were like, "Yeah, do an LLC." Some say do a PLLC because like PLLC means essentially like you're the licensed professional that's owning that business. So like someone that's not a licensed professional can't own that business. So I opted to go for a PLLC. I don't know if it truly matters a whole lot, but I just asked her to create that, and she did, and she said it was super easy. And Kelly also sent us over a few links and said you can do it yourself, um, pretty easy. So
Our
that was
Kelly,
yes, yeah.
our
She
Kelly
she
sent you a few links on how to go through that process.
She has some great
Oh, cool.
resources for it. So I did that, and then once you get registered, uh, once you get the business registered, you're going to get an EIN, which is pretty much your like tax ID number. So I'll have that information that's important for my accountant to have. Also went through the process of just getting licensed. It takes about a month, a little over a month. So students listening, just have that in mind and be prepared for that. Nailing down the location. This last week, I also opened a business account with a bank, so that was really cool. There's a few ways to do it. You can do your big banks, you can do your regional banks, you can also do online banking. I didn't do the online banking, but it might be a good idea for those trying to save some money because there's no minimums required, so you don't have to have any certain amount of money in the bank. And so the bank that I chose once again to go with a friend just to have a banker that I trust. And there was a minimum, but I think having someone on my team that cares about me, cares about my business, and is willing to support me was worth that. And I wanted to support them too. So as much as I can give, I'm trying to do that as well in this process and just build like an amazing team around me.
Mhm.
And then,
Remember way back in the beginning when we first started together? Like, that was, like, the theme I felt like that was the theme of every week is, like, how to build a team of people around you who are going to support you and be your biggest cheerleaders and go to
absolutely,
bat for you. Now
I
you're
think
seeing
that's
how important
huge,
that is, right?
most definitely. And even my commercial real estate agent, so this whole time finding a location, I just reached out to a few commercial real estate agents, found someone that just like I could tell she wanted to help. Some really kind of wrote me off, and others were just like too busy, and that's okay. She wanted to help, and she would send me different like locations each week, and I'd look at them. The one that I found, she ends up not. It's kind of more of like a handshake type deal with the owner, so she doesn't get anything out of it. But she was still so like loving and willing to help in any way she could. So I'm keeping her in mind and recommending her to anyone I can, just like another person on the team. So that was the process of finding the location. Um, Something else I've been working on this week that is fun but also challenging because it takes a lot of creativity is building my website. So I did that. Um, First, I went on Google and I created a Google business account. So I have my Google, my email, my professional email, and then I bought a domain name, and then I registered with Squarespace, and so I bought a year of a website, and that I'll renew every year. And so I'm working on the creative process of building my website and really telling my story and really grabbing people's attention and making the page feel good, just like we want the office to feel good, our conversations to feel good, and everything like of that nature.
Awesome. Did you sign a lease already?
I haven't signed the lease because I'm waiting on my checkbook to get in from my bank, but the
Awesome.
landlord, he's really cool, and he's just like, "Yeah, I'm saving the space for you, so no rush, but just make sure you don't jump somewhere else without telling me."
Cool. That's awesome. So, Colin, you actually got a tremendous amount of things done in the last 1 and 2 weeks. And have you noticed that there were certain things that you like thrived in and you were like super excited to do, and then there were like other things. I call it eating eating your frogs, right? So, and then there were like other things that were just like you didn't love to do as much. Did you notice that yet or
Yeah, most definitely. So, like, a lot of this stuff, it's fun and it's exciting, but, like, the emotional attachment to it going into it is, like, from a place of, like, I don't know what I'm doing, so it creates a little, like, fear. And the funny thing is, and I've noticed this with a lot of things in life, is, like, we have, like, these ideas about something or how it's gonna be just from our limited perception, and then after we do it, it's much easier than we actually built it up to be in our head.
yes.
But yeah, there are definitely like the super like numbery and legal things are just like cloudy in my brain and kind of hard for me to comprehend. So I don't love doing that. That's why I opted to work with people, like with a team, instead of doing it myself, because I just wanted the peace of mind of knowing it was done right. And so that was worth
Yeah.
worth paying a little bit for me.
That's awesome. So I have those things too. Like, there are certain things like I love being a chiropractor. You and I talked about loving to adjust. And then there are just certain things about practice that I just like do not like to do. And like one of them I'm in the middle of this right now where we're looking for new team members. Our practice is continuing to grow and we need new team members. And then I just had a team member that just went to chiropractic school. So um, I have to do all these interviews and I have to post all these ads and I absolutely don't like it. So I have like a strategy to get through those things so to make sure that I actually do them because like when you don't like to do something, you have a tendency to put them off. So I
Mm.
have a strategy to make sure I get through those things. Do you have did you come up with a strategy or like what what were what were some of the things that how are you getting through that? Like making sure you do the things you don't like to do.
It's the same as working out. for me, it's the same as getting up and reading my Bible. It's non-negotiables. It's like, Colton, this is what you have to do to be successful. This is what you have to do in order to do the things you want to do. So like, and even right now, a good training is like I'm doing a cold plunge or like getting in the cold pool every day of January, and it's like I hate it. I can't stand it. But it's getting me comfortable with things I don't like to do. So then I'm more equipped to do the things I don't want to do as it relates to business. It's just, yeah, establishing those non-negotiables, and you always feel better once it's out of the way. So that's that. And just trying to be aware of my relationship and the thoughts that I'm telling myself as it relates to what I'm doing. Just like I said, it's not as
Mhm.
bad. It's never as bad as we make it out to be in our heads. So I just keep trying to remind myself of that.
Awesome. I love I love your saying non-negotiable because that's exactly what it is. It's like when you don't like when your alarm goes off in the morning and you're like, the worst thing that you could do is know you have to go to the gym and negotiate with your brain. Should I get up? No, if I just sleep 5 more minutes. Do I really have to go? No, I gotta go. No, but I might
Mm,
not like get extra sleep. No, it's not negotiable.
mhm.
That's why you're gonna be so successful.
Yeah, and I say all this, and I want people to know, because it's easy. I looked at people that were starting to practice and that were older than me. It looked like they had it all figured out and like they knew everything and that it was easy for them to do this stuff, but it's not. Like it's not easy, but it has to be done, and I struggle with it. And there's times where I've taken the easy way out or I've neglected, and then but it always bites you in the butt. So I just recommend just doing it. But then there's also a side of grace and understanding, like, hey, when you didn't do what you were supposed to do, take it for what it is, learn from it, and move on, and then do the right thing the next time.
Yeah. Yeah. So you just actually did something yesterday that brought you out of your comfort zone. Not necessarily sure you wanted to do it, but you did do it. And I think it was the first time that you spoke about chiropractic and who you are and what you do in front of people. Is that right?
That's right. That's right. So yesterday I went to, and this is an awesome resource for chiropractors or any business professional. I went to a BNI group, Business Networking International, I think is what it stands for. They allow
Mhm.
you 2 visits at each chapter, and it's just a bunch of people. Um, it's a networking group, so you get to meet people. It's very referral based, and it's yeah, it's very intentional. So it's cool. So they have their meeting flow, but at one point you get to stand up and do a commercial. And I knew that was coming, and so the day before and that morning before, I practiced my 60-minute or 60-second commercial. I had it down. I had it down to a T, and I was ready to spit it. Um, and my time came, and it's just like my mind just went to all the eyes on me, and I said most of the things I wanted to say, but I didn't get through it in the way that I wanted to. So I was a little hard on myself for that. But then at the end of the day, I was like, you know what? I stepped out of my comfort zone. I met people, and then it's always the thing that we talk about. It's never about really what you say. It's how you make people feel. So I just made sure that I was full of energy and loving, and just trying to get to know other people's business just as much as they wanted to get to know my own. So that was my experience, and so that was really cool.
Colton, I'm super proud of you. That's a big growth step.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, I'm super proud of you. And here's the lesson in that. Like, it's better to just be done than to be perfect. Like,
Mm,
didn't we talk about that lesson?
hmm.
Just do it. It's better to just do it than to like than fret about it being perfect and not doing it because you're fretting about it being perfect.
That's so true. That's what I'm telling myself about social media right now too. I'm just trying to get like stuff out there instead of like it has to be perfect. Just like just share your message.
Oh yeah, just share your message. I do videos all the time and like my video I think my videos stink and when patients come in all the time and they're new patients and I ask them, who referred to do the practice or whatever is one of our questions that we always address when a new patient comes in is we always know the referral source ahead of time. And so sometimes people will write on their thing like saw Dr. Nicole's video, right? So when I go in, I'm like, are you kidding me? You really saw my video? And they're like, yeah, doc, you did great, right? In my perspective, I like looked ridiculous, but from their perspective, something, touched them and moved them into coming in the office. So, because they're sitting in front of me. So, yeah, just
Mm,
get her done, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I always feel like the people's people's desire to be perfect stops them so many times from
mm,
moving forward. It paralyzes people
mhm,
for sure. And so that's really cool. Also, what you had mentioned is, it wasn't so much about the words that you said, but how you made them feel. And that was like one of our themes last week, because last week we really you had a transition. You transitioned from the Jumpstart program, which was all about the steps you had to take to open an office, and now we transitioned into what the Thrive program, we call it the accelerated program, and now it's about putting systems in place. So we were working on the day one phone call, like how to handle a day one phone call, how to handle questions or belief systems that people may have if they call up and want to know if you use their insurance, or if they call up and they want to know exactly what the visit is going to be or whatever. We talked about how to handle all that. And one of the key points I wanted you to take away from that was that the new patient conversion does not happen on the financial. A lot of
mm,
people get that wrong. Like, they think that the conversion happens on the financial. It does not happen on the financial. The new patient conversion happens with the initial interaction with that person.
mm.
So, how many people did you speak to yesterday?
Probably at least 15.
15. So yesterday you had the possibility or the potential for starting a new patient conversion yesterday, speaking to 15 people. So you
That's
actually
right.
started the process of a new patient conversion with 15 people yesterday.
Mhm.
You see?
Yes, that makes perfect sense, and without even, like, trying to I didn't talk about what I did, but this was before I spoke, but I didn't talk about what I did or anything, like, I just simply said I was a chiropractor, and then one person was like, "Well, I know who my new chiropractor is." He's like, "I'm so glad you're in this group, or that you came to this group because 'cause I've been looking for a chiropractor." So I was like, "Wow,
Awesome.
that's cool." People and that's a message too, like, people are looking. It's just like, you just gotta put yourself out there because we live in a world of, like, information paralysis, and you Google chiropractors, and there's so many, but, like, you don't get that, personal relationship. So, like, when people get to meet you and experience, like, the personal aspect of it, they feel a lot more comfortable, like, making that appointment or coming in to see you. And this is perspective because I don't really know for sure yet, but that was my experience yesterday.
Yeah, cool. And I've been in practice for 22 years, and I would say that's been my experience for 22 years. And, when one of the ways that I teach people to, one of our, for the Jumpstart program, our guarantee is that you open your practice with 90 new people on your schedule for the day that you open. And the way that we teach you to get 90 new people, or 100 new people, or 50 new people, or 200 new people, whatever it is that you want, really. 90 was my number, so I picked 90, but it could be any number you want, is by doing outside talks. And sometimes I feel like when I say that, people think that that's so antiquated, because that was something we did 25 years ago. Well, let me tell you something. There's no you're exactly right, because there's no better way than actually getting in front of people to be able to attract people into your practice, because they're already coming to your practice knowing who you are, what
Mm,
you believe, what your beliefs are, what you value. They already walk into your practice feeling like they already know you and feeling like you already know them. You already have a relationship.
mm,
And you just built a relationship with 15 people at one time. So that's how we do it. That's how we grow high volume. With high volume, you don't sign one at a time. You don't get one at a time. It's masses at a time.
mm.
That's the difference between a low volume office and a high volume office. A lower volume office, they're getting patients one at a time. A high volume office, you're getting masses of people at a time. And that's what you did yesterday, which is awesome.
Yeah, it was a
And
cool
that's why you're
experience.
gonna yeah, and that's why you're gonna be shoot, man, I don't even know what word to say because you're already amazing. So I
Thank
can't even say you're gonna be amazing because you are amazing.
you.
So that's so cool. Dude, did you after you did it, did you get a rush? I always get a rush after I speak.
After I spoke, yeah. No, I mean, I'm just, yeah. It was definitely a rush. It was a rush during it because all my thoughts went out of my brain and my heart started beating fast. But the rush was during, and then after, I was like, oh wow, I actually did it. And then um, I was kind of like thinking, oh, I could have said this better, could have said that better. But then I just then I wasn't present. Then I wasn't listening to other people give their commercials. So I was like, okay, I got to shake that and just be here and be present. And like I said, it doesn't matter what I said; it
Mhm.
just matters that I said it.
Yep. Yep.
But I was
Awesome.
happy. It was kind of like after I did it, I was like, "What's next?"
Well, I'll tell you what's next. What's next is we talked about how to connect with other businesses, groups, clubs, organizations in your community, right? All you have to do
Mhm.
is Google them. So what's next is you need to create a spreadsheet and start connecting with the groups in your community and just give talks. Just talk
Okay.
away. Just give talks,
Mhm.
man. And the cool part is chiropractors like we get to go and talk about the thing that we love the most.
Mhm.
Like how cool is that? Who
Mhm.
can't talk about the thing they love the most?
Yeah, people need to hear it.
People need to hear it, and people want what we have, like, more I don't know, I hear this all the time, more now than ever, but seriously, between everything that this world has gone through in the last 3 years, people want the chiropractic principle, and people will tell you that they want the chiropractic principle, they just don't know necessarily what it is like, what it's called yet, you know?
Yes,
Like, because they
absolutely.
just don't know what they don't know, but, um I was even listening to this video that this medical doctor did, and he was an MD, and he was a spinal doctor, and guess what he's talking about? He's talking about how subluxations of the neck cause inflammation and deterioration of the vagus nerve, and how it's directly linked to the global structure of the curve of the neck. That's chiropractic. That's what we do in chiropractic.
Mhm.
And at first, I'm like, "This guy think he's a chiropractor? He has MD after his name, right?"
Yeah.
Little does he know little does he know that that's what we can correct that without,
Mhm.
he was using drugs and surgery to correct it, but same principle, correction of the curve to restore proper nerve flow through the body.
Mhm.
Freaking awesome. So, how are you doing? Because you just got married.
Did just get married. She did just get married.
Um, and you are a driver personality, meaning in
Yeah.
business. So how are you
Yeah.
doing with balance?
Some days better than others. But I'm doing okay. I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say that I'm doing great because we always say we're gonna be real on this podcast, and that's what I want to offer is a reflection of what it's really like. And some days I feel great, and I'm loving life, and I'm super present. And I always try to be that way, but there's days like I think 2 days ago where I just I was just overwhelmed. Like what I've been struggling with is having this mind of what's next, what's next, what's next. I got to do this, I got to do that, and even to the point where sometimes it's like I know I have to do it, but I'm just sitting there thinking about it and not doing it. Like the action beats inaction, like we were just talking about. But yeah, it's there's never a time where my mind has really stopped unless I intentionally set time apart for that. And I was talking to my good friend Spencer yesterday, amazing doc, and just a great friend and great person. And we were chatting, and he just opened up, so he knows exactly what I'm going through. And he's like, "Dude, you're in a time right now of I have more free time than I've ever had in my life, but also I know I have this feeling I got to be filling this free time with doing business stuff." And some of the business stuff is a waiting game, and some of it is taking action and doing things each day. He's like, dude, you just gotta set apart 3, 4, 5, whatever, however much time you feel comfortable with in the day, and do the things you need to do for your health first. He's like, I loved going to the gym, and and getting my mind right, doing all the thing, and then I work best after that. So then I would go to a coffee shop, I'd buy a coffee because then I'm investing my time. Like if I don't get any work done, I'm wasting money. So it's like if I buy a coffee, like I'm gonna get work done. He's like, then I would just go to work for like 3 hours. I would have a list of things I need to do, and then whenever that time was done, I would go home. I would hang out with friends. I would hang out with my girlfriend. I would, and for me, I'd hang out with Liz. And he's like, you gotta be able to like find rest and let the mind calm down and have balance in your life. And that's an area that I've been struggling. And so that's my intention going forward now is like whenever I don't have things on paper, like my mind is chaos. And so I have to create a list of things that are necessary and priorities and get those done. But set apart a certain time during the day to do those things. And when I'm not doing those things, relax, like really find deep rest. So I think that's so important. So all that to say is I'm doing great and I'm happy and I'm loving what I'm doing, but without balance and without focus and without like intentional like time blocking, my mind can become chaos and I'm just in a constant state of stress and feeling overwhelmed. And honestly, that state of the nervous system, like we hear about like the flight, but like or the fight and the flight, but like sometimes I get into a state of freeze where it's like I know I got to do all this stuff, but like I don't do anything because I just like information paralysis or like action paralysis. And so
Yeah.
knowing what you got to do it. But when you're not doing that, rest, find peace, find time to chill.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I have a friend, and I was sharing this story with you earlier, but I have a friend who is a um real estate investor in North Jersey and in Manhattan, and he's just a kick-ass entrepreneur, like super successful man. And I had called him yesterday, and I got his voicemail, and the thing that stuck out for me most about his voicemail was that at the end of the voicemail it said, "And if you reach this voicemail after 6 p.m., you'll get a call back tomorrow."
Mm.
So like that for me was like that was like that stuck out on the phone for me because I was like, you know what, this dude knows what he wants, he knows who he is, he knows his core values, he knows what's important to him, and he sets the standards in place and the boundaries in place to fulfill it that are congruent with it.
I mean, that's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Well, guess what, man? It is like been a half hour already.
Always flies by.
It always does. I know. Well, that's a good thing. If it dragged out, that would probably be a bad sign.
Do anything fun this weekend?
Yeah. So I'm having dinner with my family tomorrow, my mom and my dad. And so we're going out to dinner and just hanging with my boys, Lucas and Cole, and we're gonna just spend some time together. Tomorrow I'll probably do a little bit of like I'll probably carve like 3 or 4 hours out to um, do things like for chiropractic. Speaking at New Beginnings coming up here in a couple weeks again, so that's really fun. And I put together a really nice talk. I'm really proud of my talk, but I'm really excited to deliver it because it's based on like higher level communication and how we can use higher level communication to change the perception of chiropractic on the planet
Mm.
and why that's important. So yeah, I'm super jazzed about that. So I'm probably going to put a few hours toward that on Saturday, but other than that, I'm just hanging out with my boys.
Oh,
Probably
that's gonna
watching
be
some
great.
football. Yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah, go Cowboys.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm down with the Cowboys. I lived in Dallas for a few years.
That's right. It's funny. If there are any football fans out there, my wife, she's a Philadelphia Eagles fan and I'm a Cowboys fan. So the rivalry is real over here.
Yeah, I bet. Dude, the Eagles are crushing it this year though.
They are. They're really good.
They're having a good year.
Hmm.
They're having a really good year. So, well, I guess we know what we'll be doing this weekend.
That's right.
So we are out of time for today. Thrive in Chiropractic will be back again next week with Dr. Colton O'Brien. Colton, can you tell everyone how they can find you?
Yeah, to catch the latest from me, you can follow me on Instagram at Dr. Colton O'Brien, or also my business account at Trinity Life Chiropractic. On Facebook, you can find me at Trinity Life Chiropractic, and our official website is trinitylifechiro.com.
That's awesome. Colton, as always, thank you for sharing your story with me and our audience.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right.